him in this manner, in private, and with all that, he still shares that part of the situation without his context and misleads the viewers and the listeners to assume there's no background information. It's just suddenly someone was in Yemen with him and then no welcome and just like a wahsh, like just all over him. So that is what I wanted to share of context. طيب, another thing too in his new video is how he took out the real reason for his differences with some of the brothers from Shima Muqbil in UK.
We differed with our brothers. This is back in 2014 and it was brought up again by the Sheikh, is the issue of going to the masajid of Ahlul Bid'ah. Right? I keep being told, stick to your brothers, stick to your brothers. What do they mean by this term when they say your brothers? Meaning your Damaji brothers. This is what they would say to me all the time. And this is the same type of rhetoric that we hear right now. Are you with us? Are you with us? Are you with us? No, I'm not with you. Right? In fact, I'm actually very different. Right? What do they mean by this? Those who agree on matters that are what? Far'iyat and juz'iyat. Subsidiary matters.
And I'll give you just a background about this as well, that it's not correct. And there's an old audio of Abu Muawiyah Abdullah Hassan where he points out some of the reasons of the fallout. Inshallah, we'll play it here.
Brother Abu Taymiyyah, tell us the rest.
ثم بعد ذلك لما ظهر منه القواعد الباطلة الفاسدة تركوه وبينوا خطأه وتركوه.
So he's speaking about Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi, a masjid in Luton, how they dealt with Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi.
تركوه على هذا.
And then you go on to say, Ya Muhammad, that when it became clear, his mistakes became clear and his false principles, they left him off and they left him at that and they clarified his mistakes. And you also said,
first, أخي, these brothers from Luton, their head, or the one that's in charge and has authority over the masjid, is a brother called Abdul Qadir Bakhsh. And these brothers, they do not promote Abu Hassan whatsoever. And they haven't done so for many years.
Ya Muhammad, Ya Ustad, first you said that they clarified his mistakes and they left him at that. Where is this clarification, Akhi? We're yet to see it. And then you said that they stopped promoting him. Then Ya Muhammad, to make clear to you that those people who you've backed to the hill have misled you, Ya Akhi, and they've told you incorrect information. For if you was to only go to calltoislam.com and to have taken that time to look on their website and put in the search bar Abul Hassan, Abul Hassan, you would have found, as I found, 3 subheadings. The first one being, under Manhaj and Hizbiyah, the dangers of labeling people Sheikh Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi, created on the 14th of September 2013.
And even with that, he didn't recant. He was persistent. And these people were promoting Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi on their website. And he was saying all sorts of statements, harsh statements towards the brothers and ourselves, merely because we were telling a fact.
And the one that says that they promote Abu Hassan at the very moment, فهذا رجل والله يكذب يحرش ويفتن ويريد إشاعة الباطل بين الناس.
I can look at all these statements. Subhanallah.
La ilaha illallah. You say that the one that says that they promote Abu Hassan at the very moment that he is فهذا رجل والله يكذب. Then you take an oath by Allah that that person is a liar and is lying. وَيُحَرِّشْ, and he's setting people against one another. وَيُفْتِن, and he's causing fitna. وَيُرِيد إِشَاعَةَ الْبَاطِلِ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ, and that he wants to spread falsehood and lies amongst the people. My intention, ya ikhwan, is not to embarrass anybody.
So this is some of the things, and there's more to it. But Abu Taymiyyah, he doesn't want to give you the full story, unfortunately. He's giving a biased narrative for some reason. I ask Allah to guide us all. I'll give you another example.
Other subsidiary matters that they differ on, subhanAllah. Tell me if I'm wrong, my brothers and my sisters. Over what? Right? I remember, subhanAllah, how I was personally dealt with. This is back in 2014. I came back, all I knew was our Damaji brothers. And it was only their masjid I would give khutbahs at, and one of the other masjids in Leicester. Later on, we fell out over what? Over three things. Right? Number one, you shouldn't cooperate or you shouldn't have dealings with Abu Usama al-Dhahabi. I just went to see him. I was being told by a couple of brothers, it's good maybe if you go see the Sheikh, because I was teaching in Nottingham in a masjid, right? And the attendees, they were split between those who like Sheikh Abu Usama al-Dhahabi and those who hate him. So of course, I can't speak about someone that I have no knowledge of, right? People are telling me, you need to speak about him, you need to refute him, you need to refute Green Lane. And I never said anything. One of the brothers, who's now become a little bit narrow-minded, in fact, extremely narrow-minded, he actually drove me to the Sheikh. Right? And this same brother now, who drove me to the Sheikh, considers me and Sheikh Abu Usama to be watered down, to be completely up.
And did you ever cross your mind, Abu Taymiyyah, that for some people that were with you all of a sudden leaving you off, or someone else of your teachers, did you ever try to think that not everyone's wrong, or everybody has, maybe they have a good reason? Did you ever try to stop brushing everyone with the same brush and try to hear them out for once?
Completely off. On his own account. Ajib. How the days and the nights, they alternate, right? And I just verified all of this information that was being said about Sheikh Abu Usama. So anyways, because I didn't call him an innovator, I got threatened by some of these brothers. I got threatened by some of these. Either you get clear on Abu Usama, you got 48 hours to get clear, otherwise we're taking all of your lessons down from a website they had at the time called Al-Ulum. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. The other issue that they had.
So it goes on to mention another issue, but let's see this part, about the Abu Usama al-Dhahabi part, because I brought it to him and I reminded him. I said, I remember you saying in my face in front of Masjid Quba that you will leave off Abu Usama al-Dhahabi if you hear this and that statement. This is what he's saying to, there was even some brothers from Leicester. I didn't request him, but this is what he ended up saying with those brothers at that time. So he said if he admitted hearing it from him, he will somewhat agree not to go to him or take from him or even praise him. So I asked him, is this true, Abu Taymiyyah, that you agreed to this and you heard this from him? He said, yes. I said, so you're not going to go back to him? He said, yes. So it was on his own agreement. And then he ended up going back to him without any clarification. So the issue of Abu Usama al-Dhahabi was initially something that he brought up, that if he hears, he said if he hears this from him directly, he's going to leave him off. And he said he heard him directly. And at that, in front of Masjid Quba, and that's after the night I gave a lecture, and it was arranged by Abu Taymiyyah and them, and they welcomed me, they brought me there. So I was there in front of some of other brothers from Leicester who were present at that time, and they were bringing these points up, that he said this, and he heard it, so can you follow your own word? So this was the context, or else with him still being Abu Usama al-Dhahabi, there was a lot of brothers who he studied with from Damaj that were still giving him the good side and patient, and even with these weird behavior, They didn't say give him this thing that you have to, or else you'll be cut off. And he knows that. And he used to refer to these individuals as neutral. And now he refers to them perhaps as extreme. What happened, anyone that disagrees with him and just some of his behavior, what he does, he labels them and attacks them. And then later on he says that if we were to, because he was attacking us on WhatsApp groups, and the people, the admin of the WhatsApp groups removed him. Because he was argumentative, he was causing drama in the WhatsApp groups. And the same thing for the ulum, that someone who like this, who's argumentative and causing problems, it's not safe to have him on such a platform that he's going to bring, his name is going to bring controversy until things calm down. And that was a wise decision. Alhamdulillah, we did so, because later on a lot of reckless behavior came out by you, and it could have harmed the image of the website. So this is our opportunity to share this, the background, because you withheld this information, unfortunately. The thing about going to the Masajid of Ahl Bid'ah, the brother Abu Taymiyyah in his recent video, I believe in the 2-hour and 40-minute span, he shared a clip of one of the mashayikh, which is actually something that I went against some of the things that he was doing, and he thought it was in his favor. So I'll play the.
But we'll come on to that, inshaAllah ta'ala. Like I said, my brothers and my sisters, time and time again, I'm not mentioning these fatwa so that you could go and sit with the people of innovation or anyone who's deviated. This is not my gharad. This is not my reason for mentioning this, my brothers and my sisters. Right? Or anyone who's going to corrupt you in any way, shape or form. However, I'm mentioning these fatwa because people get dropped for that which is far less than that which you're about to hear right now. Let's start off with Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, right, in Zad al-Ma'ad, when speaking about the benefits of the treaties of Hudaybiyah. Look what he says now, my brothers and my sisters. Right? أن المشركين وأهل البدع والفجور والبغاة والظلمة. He says the mushriks, وأهل البدع, and the people of innovation, people of transgression, right? Those who wrong themselves, oppressors, right? إذا طلبوا أمرا يعظمون فيه حرمة من حرمات الله تعالى. If they now request from you something that is going to, right, glorify and venerate a symbol from the symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? أجيبوا إليه. It is upon you now to accept this proposal. They need you now to cooperate with them in a matter, my brothers and my sisters, that involves lifting the speech or the kalima of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? You have to respond to them. أجيبوا إليه وأعطوه. Right? And you should give them that. وأعينوا عليه. Right? And you should also assist them in that. وإن منعوا غيره فيعاونون على ما فيه تعظيم حرمات الله تعالى. Even though there might be cases, my brothers and my sisters, where there are other things that you hold back from giving to these individuals. Right? فيعاونون, and then he reiterates it. You cooperate with them in that which involves ta'zeem, glorifying the sacred matters that belong to Allah Azza wa Jal. لا على كفرهم وبغيهم. However, you don't assist and cooperate with them in propagating or establishing their kufr and that which is a type of transgression. وَيُمْنَعُونَ مَا سِوَى ذَلِكَ, even though you refuse in anything other than that. فَكُلُّ مَنِ الْتَمَسَ الْمُعَاوَنَةَ عَلَى مَحْبُوبٍ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى. Anyone. I know it might sound repetitive, but the Shaykh keeps repeating it. Anyone who requests from you aid and assistance in that which is beloved to Allah, مُرْضٍ لَهُ, satisfies him, أُجِيبَ إِلَى ذَلِكَ. You should respond to that invitation and accept that proposal. كائنا من كان, whoever it might be. ما لم يترتب على إعانتي على ذلك المحبوب مبغوض لله أعظم منه. As long as it doesn't lead to, right, something that causes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now, or it causes now something that is, or it leads to something that is now hated to Allah Azza wa Jal, that outweighs that. وهذا من أدق المواضع أو أصعبها وأشقها على النفوس. And he says, this is one of the things that are extremely difficult upon the nafs. Now, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to give a scenario, right? If a Brelvi calls me now, and Brelvis do call me, right, asking me about this particular issue, right, not about anything else. They ask me about the issues and how to address the matters pertaining to LGBTQ, and I send them content. Isn't this now a form of cooperation? Should I not now cooperate with them on this particular matter? They're not going to call me on anything else. They know where I stand. But if they ask me now for help on a matter that involves now, right, lifting the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making sure that this remains and that people are guided, I'm going to go help them. Is there a problem with that now, my brothers and my sisters? هكذا قال ابن القيم رحمة الله عليه. And this is now from the benefits of Hudaybiyah that he extracted. Right? Now I'm going to quote all of these other, right? All of these other fatawa of Ahl al-Ilm. You can interpret it the way you want, but I'm just putting it out there because people get boycotted and they get refuted and they get rebutted for that which is far less, my brothers and my sisters. The second fatwa. It was the lajna that was asked. The lajna that was spearheaded by Shaykh Abdul Aziz Ibn Baz rahmatullahi alayhi rahmatan wasi'ah. Question was: الجماعات والفرق الموجودة الآن أقصد بها جماعة الإخوان المسلمين وجماعة التبليغ وجماعة أنصار السنة المحمدية والجمعية الشرعية والسلفيين ومن يسمونهم التكفير والهجرة. He goes to different groups and parties that are out there today. And he says, I intend by it the Ikhwanis, the Tablighis, Ansar al-Sunnah al-Muhammadiyah, based in Sudan, right? Wal-Jam'iyya al-Shar'iyya, charity, wal-Salafiyin, also the Salafis, and those who call themselves at-Takfir wal-Hijrah, right? Takfir wal-Hijrah. وهذه كلها وغيرها قائمة من. All of these groups are today, right? Here in Egypt. They're all here in Egypt. ما موقف المسلم منها وهل ينطبق عليها حديث حذيفة. He says, what's the position of the Muslim with regards to these issues, right? And does the hadith of Hudhayfa apply in these matters? What was the hadith of Hudhayfa when the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said فَاعْتَزِلْ تِلْكَ الْفِرَقَ كُلَّهَا, right? Isolate and distance yourself from all of these groups. وَلَوْ أَن تَعَضَّ بِأَصْلِ شَجَرَةٍ, even if it means that you hold on or you bite onto, right, the root of that tree, حتى يدركك الموت, يعني meaning your belief and whatever you have been upon, up until, right, you depart from this world, وأنت على ذلك, and you remain upon that, narrated by Imam Muslim rahmatullahi alayhi. What do we do? Bear in mind that they were asked about this hadith. All of these groups are being mentioned, right? He could have given him the answer of just act upon the hadith, right? But look what he said. كل من هذه الفرق فيها حق وباطل. All of these groups, they have that which is haqq and they have that which is batil, false. They have that which is correct and they have that which is incorrect. وخطأ وصواب, right? So they carry with them the truth. They also have that which is false. They have that which is erroneous and they have that which is in line with as-sawab, that which is correct. وبعض أقرب إلى الحق والصواب. Some of these groups are more closer to the truth and that which is correct. وأكثر خيرا وأعم نفعا من بعض, right? And they have more khair with them, right? And their benefit are far greater than the other. فعليك أن تتعاون مع كل منها, right? It's upon you now to cooperate with every single one of them. ما معها من الحق, that which each one of them has of truth. وتنصح أو وتنصح, معطوف على تعاون, نعم, أن وتنصح لها فيما تراه خطأ, and that which you see to be incorrect, upon you to advise them on that. And then the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَدَعْ مَا يَرِيبُكِ إِلَى مَا لَا يَرِيبُكِ, and leave that which gives you doubt over that which doesn't give you doubt. طيب. Someone may say, oh, this fatwa is actually outdated, which has actually been said, and it should have been acted upon. Like imagine I said that, right? It needs to be eliminated. We're going to come on to the issue of elimination that I said about Shaykh Muqbil, rahimahullah ta'ala. We're going to come on to that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Right? That these fatwa should not be acted upon. In fact, they're actually abrogated. Because later on, Shaykh bin Baz said something different about the Jama'atul Ikhwan and also Tabligh, right? Where he warned against them. So they said all of these fatwas should not be acted upon. Well, I even heard one Shaykh, subhanAllah, I actually saw the message, saying that these mashayikh didn't know, or something along the lines of that. I'm just paraphrasing, right? Don't quote me on it, the exact wording. But what he did say in there was, later on Shaykh Rabi' and Shaykh Muhammad Aman al-Jami, they explained to the mashayikh, and then they retracted it, and they changed their views about the tabligh and also the ikhwan. You know, my brothers and my sisters, why I don't actually buy that? I don't buy this at all, right? Because there's another fatwa by the Lajna itself, where they were asked, في العالم الإسلامي اليوم عدة فرق وطرق. In today's world, we have so many different groups and so many different paths. And then he gives example, الصوفية مثلا, جماعة التبليغ, الإخوان المسلمين, السنيين, those who follow the Sunnah, Shia, right? If you're saying to me now that he retracted what he said about these two groups that I just mentioned, then what about the Sufiya? Are you telling me that he didn't know anything about the Sufiya and the Shia as well? فما هي الجماعة التي تطبق كتاب الله وسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم? Which one of these groups actually applies the kitab and the sunnah of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم? Right? Again, the Lajna, which is being spearheaded by Shaykh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, he says, أقرب الجماعات الإسلامية إلى الحق وأحرصها على تطبيقه. The closest, right? The closest when it comes to the Jama'at, the Islamic Jama'at, to the truth, and the one who is most eager in applying the Sharia, أهل السنة, they are the people of the Sunnah, وهم أهل الحديث, they are the people of Hadith, وجماعة أنصار السنة, جماعة أنصار, ثم الإخوان المسلمون, وبالجملة فكل فرقة, and in generally speaking, فكل فرقة من هؤلاء وغيرهم. He says, all of these groups that were mentioned, and other than them as well. So it's not just specific to one or two, which he later retracted on. No, he's speaking about all of them. فيها خطأ وصواب. They have that which is correct and also that which is incorrect. فعليك بالتعاون معها فيما عندها من الصواب. Upon you to cooperate with them in that which they were correcting. واجتناب ما وقعت فيه من أخطاء. Right? And to stay away from the mistakes that they fell into. مع التناصح والتعاون على البر والتقوى, while at the same time you exchange advices, right? You exchange advices. He's not saying remain silent. No. Advise them in that which is incorrect, while at the same time cooperate. والتعاون على البر والتقوى, and also to cooperate in piety and at-taqwa. Right? Like I said, my brothers and sisters, pay attention to the question. They are only being asked which is the closest to the truth. That was the question. Which one of them is the closest? But then they went out their way to say cooperate with them. They didn't have to say that. They didn't have to say that, my brothers and my sisters. All they're being asked is which one is the closest now to the truth. Right? He's encouraging. Go and work with them. It's something that didn't need to be said, but he went out to say that. وَبِاللَّهِ التَّوْفِيقِ, he says. Right? Should it be disregarded now, my brothers and my sisters? Like imagine I said something like that, right? Of some shaykh that actually saying all of these fatwa need to be disregarded. Right? You have another fatwa, my brothers and my sisters, now. This is now, I believe, fatwa number 4. Shaykh al-Albani rahmatullahi alayhi fi sharitin, you can find it in سلسلة الهدى والنور. وقد سئل عن التعاون مع الإخوان المسلمين في الانتخابات. He was asked about cooperating with the إخوان المسلمون, right, the إخوانيs, when it comes to voting, elections. فلم يرخص في ذلك بحجة عدم وجود مصلحة في ذلك. Right? He never allowed this. And that is because, my brothers and my sisters, he didn't see a maslahah in it. He didn't see that there was any good that was going to come out of it. and because it also goes against the Sharia. And his position was very, very clear. He says, لِذَلِكَ نَحْنُ نَنصَحُكُمْ وَنَنصَحُ كُلَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Because we advise you, and we advise all of the Muslims, أَنْ لَا يَتَعَاوَنُوا مَعَ الْحِزْبِيِّينَ. Do not cooperate with the Hizbis في دخول البرلمانات. These groups that are out there in entering into parliament. أما التعاون معهم على البر والتقوى فهذا أمر واجب. As for cooperating with them in piety and taqwa, this is something that is what? Wajib. This is something that is mandatory. This is something that is what? Mandatory. Now my brothers and sisters, I've mentioned 4 fatwa. 4 fatwa. Right? Imagine if today someone says similar to that. What the reaction of the Salafis would be. And I just want to say, my brothers and my sisters, before I get misunderstood, I'm not saying that which we are speaking about today, that every individual that ascribes to Salafism is actually guilty of it. I'm not saying that at all. Right? I'm not saying that at all. Fatwa number 5, my brothers and my sisters. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahmatullahi alayhi. And this is in an audio, my brothers and my sisters, where Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, right, met with Shaykh Rabi' al-Madkhali, hafidhahullah. Right? When speaking about the correct position when dealing with these different jama'at groups that give da'wah, right? He said أن نتعاون معهم وأن نكون جميعا دعاة إلى الحق متآلفين. That we cooperate with them, right? That we are all du'at, callers to Allah Azza wa Jal upon the truth. متآلفين, we stick together. لأن أولى الناس بالتعاون والتآلف هم دعاة الحق. Because those who are foremost, or it's foremost for, right, when it comes to cooperating and sticking together, they are the du'at upon the truth. And then he also goes on to say, فواجبنا نحو الفئات الدعوية. Our obligation towards those groups that give da'wah, أن نتعاون معهم, right, that we cooperate with them, right. And then he also went on to say, ولا شك أن الفئات الدعوية التي تنهج منهجا معينا لا شك أن فيهم الخطأ والصواب فالواجب بيان الخطأ والتحذير منه وبيان الصواب والحث عليه. He said, without a shadow of a doubt, these groups that are giving da'wah, they take a particular path. There's without a shadow of a doubt that they have mistakes and they have that which is correct. That which is wajib is to clarify that which is wrong, and also to warn against that which is incorrect. And at the same time, you clarify that which is right and you encourage the people to it. Right? How can someone say to me, right, oh, later on, they warned against it, which they may have, but that doesn't necessarily abrogate this. They have issues which need to be warned against, while at the same time there's ta'awan. Right? And like I said, my brothers and my sisters, I'm just mentioning this fatwa. Don't turn around and say, oh, this is my view. No. I'm just quoting this fatwa, and I'm just here to quote. I'm not here to give you my own view, my brothers and my sisters, on these matters in any way, shape or form. Right? Number 6, my brothers and my sisters. يقول شيخنا العلامة الألباني, right, الآن الحرب بين الإسلام وبين العلمانية. ففي هذا الوضع ما ينبغي للرجل المسلم الغيور على الإسلام أنه يجي في سبيل بيان موقف بعض الجماعة الإسلامية. He says, today you have a war taking place between the Muslims and the secularists. And of course the secularists are open enemies to Islam, right? And in this kind of situation, ما ينبغي, it is not appropriate for a Muslim who, right, is zealous about Islam, that he comes and he starts, right, clarifying his position about all of these different Islamic groups that are out there, right? These groups that have inhiraf, he says, right? These groups that either have a little bit of misguidance or a lot of misguidance or deviation away from Islam. Because ما ينبغي, this is not appropriate. الدخول في هذه التفاصيل ما دام الجماعات الإسلامية كلها ضد هذه الهجمة الشرسة العلمانية. It's not appropriate for you now to go into the intricacies, to go into the ins and outs, right? While you have all of these Islamic groups, they are all at war with